Hi and welcome to my KORG minilogue XD SDK tutorial. I decided to make this tutorial because there's very little information on the internet about it, so I wanted to give back to the community and show you what I've learned about how to write code for the KORG. It's a very easy procedure in terms of writing code. Of course, it's still some DSP work to be done, and you have to have a good understanding about what it means to create sounds. But the procedure itself, if you are an experienced programmer, is quite easy. We will be doing multiple parts, and in the first part, I just want to give you a short overview of how the whole SDK is downloaded, how to get it, what it is, and how to quickly get started by pushing up some code to the KORG. And I will also show you what parts are delivered with the SDK. I will go through all the files so that you have an easy understanding, and you will learn about what I've learned in the last 3 weeks. So just a caution, I am not a DSP developer. I'm just a software developer that happens to have interest in music. I'm also not a sound designer, nor am I a real musician. So this is going to be a bit more technical experience. But as I said, it's an easy start. I would also like to caution you that by following the tutorial, you will be responsible for your own safety regarding the minilogue. I didn't experience any problems with that uploading software, but if you do experience stuff, it's your own device, it's your own responsibility to be careful, and I will just show you how it's supposed to be working. A lot of the material that I will show you is empirically found out, so there is no documentation about a lot of stuff, and you have to try it out and then you learn about it. So this is how I did it. The tutorial is just there to give you guys my learning experiences to you guys. So essentially this tutorial is what I have experienced by using it for 2 or 3 weeks right now. And I will show you what I've learned. A lot of the stuff is not explicitly mentioned anywhere, so it's a bit difficult to find out, and not everything will be completely correct. I will try to do it as best as possibly as I can. Okay, let's go and jump right into the downloading of the whole thing. To the web browser. Right here on the KORG page, you will have, you just click on the products, you go to synthesizers and keyboards, scroll down until you find the minilogue, which by the way is a fantastic device. I really love it. It's easy to use and it's so extendable. So now let's see how it all works. Right, there's of course a lot of talk here about how the user devices are being used, the high quality digital effects and user oscillators. And we will be talking about all of these topics specifically in each of the parts that I'm going to deliver. All right, so it's equipped with a digital multi-engine. That's the guy over here. You see the synthesizer name right now, the oscillator name over here. And you can basically choose 3 different settings for the digital engine. It's called multi-engine. You can use it in the user mode. You can use it with the pre-built virtual phase modulation oscillator, kind of an FM synthesis, and some kind of noise oscillators that can be used as a noise generator. Okay, but we are interested, of course, in the user oscillators, so let's first download the Librarian. I will follow through all of the topics that I have done whilst learning the how to program the synthesizer, and I will be starting with a blank computer, and we'll try to tell you exactly what the steps are. All right, so that's the Librarian. So let's just download it. All right, so now your system should be updated to 1.05, and I'm not going to show you how to do this over here. If you're interested, just post me a message. I will tell you how to do it. All right, so then let's just download the sound librarian. Yeah, and by the way, this whole tutorial will be based on my Mac. So there is a difference between using the Mac and doing all the Windows stuff, and we will not be focusing on Windows at all. However, if you're a developer, you will know how to make this work on your Windows machine anyways. Okay, so now I've just installed the Librarian, and that should be good to go right now. So let's just start it and see what happens. Librarian. Okay, now it downloads all the data from the minilogue. And we will save all the stuff just in case we do corrupt something. So we do have all of the initial sounds that can be restored anyway, but let's just do it. Okay, so now that's all the sounds that are in the minilogue. Let's just save them somewhere. Okay. Now let's go to user oscillators. As you can see, there has already been some oscillators installed on the machine. And these are my little oscillators that I've done in the past few days. There's also the chance to do some kind of modulation effect and user delay and user reverb effects. And we will go through all of these in the rest of the series. We do have all the stuff downloaded over here. I have saved everything. Now let's go back to the KORG webpage. Let's go back again. All right, so here you can see there is a part over here. It's called Logue SDK. You should go and read through all the, the boilerplate over here. So now let's go and download the SDK itself. All right, so here it is. It's on GitHub, which is kind of nice because you can put in some issues, do some pull requests. So let's just clone and download the whole repository. Or better, let's make a fork. We will be doing some updates to my fork, so that you can follow up with if there is any changes in the SDK. Since the information on the SDK is quite old, so it's like on the 1st March, I will do some extensions and I will put them upstream, and I will also try to do some pull requests to KORG, but I'm afraid they will not be responding quite easily. By the way, the prologue and minilogue SDK is basically the same, as you will see. There's just some very minor differences between the two synthesizer engines. Okay, so now let's download the whole thing. And for this you open your terminal, which of course you will already need to know how to do. Okay, let's go to my PWD, let's go to my projects minilogue folder, and then let's git clone the SDK. All right, and we're basically done. Right? So let's go into the SDK, and there you can see all the files, and the structure is described over here. So now let's just go through the initial README. That's the repo. It's basically divided into a few parts, and our main goal right now is just to get a quick and easy start and to build all the necessary pieces, and to just upload the first piece to the synthesizer. All right, to do this, there is already a pull request somewhere. Okay, so some guy already did some extension on the installation documentation, which is kind of handy because you are going to save yourself a few hours or even days of work to figure out what to do when beginning, right? If you're not familiar with the pieces that are in there. All right, so clone the project. That's the additional changes that they're proposing. Then do a submodule. All right, after that, you will need to install the tools. All right, so let's start with GCC. So we are on OS X, so we will execute that script down here to download the compiler and all the embedded tool chain. I'll explain all of the parts in the next series. All right, so let's go to tools, GCC, and let's just get the GCC OS X compiler. Done. We don't need no zip because we are on the Mac, so zip is already installed. We don't need make because make is already installed on the Mac. And the only other thing that we would need would be a small tool that is making it easy to upload the sounds to the minilogue. However, unfortunately, it doesn't work with the minilogue yet. All right, so we will not be able to use that guide. We will need to go through the Librarian. This is why we had to install it. Otherwise, that would be a kind of easy way of working. You can see here, there's already some issues filed by me and some other guy who says that the CLI tool is not working. But let's not focus on that right now. Let's just go ahead and do a first build. All right, so that was the tools. I think we should be all good to go. Let's go to platform, and now we have the different choices here, and we will go for the minilogue. And solely because I have that machine. And first of all, you can see here we do have the delay effects. We do have the mod effects, the oscillator extensions, user oscillators, and the reverbs. And there's also a demo in here. So that's the waves oscillator. And this is the guide that we are going to build. So let's just make it. And the package is already done. Now, let's go and see if we can push it to our Librarian first. So let's pick the file that we just did. So that was in my projects folder. And in the projects folder, it's in the minilogue folder. And there was our original files that we did. And here you can see the platform, minilogue, and demos and waves. And there is the output of our file. So it's already in the minilogue XD unit file. So we can just drop it. But when you drop it in here, we can drop it somewhere else. Otherwise, if you are replacing a oscillator in here because you're doing frequent updates to your units and you want to check them, don't let it slip like here. It's going to override the one below. You have to be somewhat above the whole thing. Okay, so let's just try it over here. Right. Okay, now you see it. Now if I just pull it in, and if I try to put it above the guy here, it's gonna put it down, which is crazy. But that's how it works. So you have to be above the whole thing. All right. And you can Command K is gonna delete the synth shape. It's already in here. So now once you have this in place, you can just send it. Okay, let's just do it once. Then you send it to your synth. Yeah, that's an important message, right? It's gonna be your fault if if you brick the synth, right? I do not take any responsibility for that. All right, so it's sending user data, which is quite quick, which is super nice, because in this way you will be able to quickly test it. Okay, this concludes the first part of the series, where I just tried to show you how quickly you can just begin by downloading the SDK, downloading the Librarian, and then getting the tools, compiling the demo synth, and uploading it to the minilogue. And I think that really shines in terms of turnaround cycles. If you've ever developed stuff, especially on embedded systems, you know how difficult sometimes it is to set the whole thing up. Not the case with the minilogue. So that's really easy, and it's such a joy to play around with that. So within the next part, we will have a look at the waves oscillator, and we will have a look at how the whole SDK is built up. And yeah, looking forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any questions, just post them down below, and I will try to answer them. And if you have any suggestions regarding the format or regarding style or whatever, just put them down below, and I will try to fix it if there's any issue. Okay, so see you next time.